Socialism says that we want to concentrate power because we want to trust in the altruism of the government. Capitalism says we want to decentralize that because we can't necessarily trust in other people. Both systems are fundamentally flawed. I like capitalism better, but both systems are flawed because at the end of the day, like you said, what the Bible says about people is that we're sinful and we're messed up people. And so both systems rely on that human structure. And so that's why you need to develop a system that is based around humans' fundamental flaw. We're all greedy when it comes to money.
Going back to what you were saying about the limited supply about Bitcoin, right? I mean, again, if it's based on an algorithm, I mean, at the end of the day, right, the US Mint could stop producing money because there's actual human involvement. I mean, how do you turn off a Bitcoin thing if there's no human intervention?
So you're saying, how do you ensure that there's only ever 21 million and that somebody doesn't violate that? That's a really good question. And so it's all about the incentive structure for Bitcoin. So there's an interesting governance model in Bitcoin. It's very, very democratic. If you mine Bitcoin, so like we talked about, you process transactions, you get a vote on the network. If you run a node, so you could run it from your tablet, your computer, a node isn't mining Bitcoin, but it's another way of keeping track of the ledger. So it's kind of a checks and balances on the miners, making sure nobody's putting in false transactions or anything like that. All of these people that are contributing to the network, they're getting financial incentives. So the miners get it because of their, they're actually getting Bitcoin rewards. The nodes are ensuring that their investments are safe and things like that. If you were to change the supply of Bitcoin, so say the miners and everybody got together and 51% of the network voted, hey, we want to make 50 million Bitcoin tomorrow. They could technically do that, but they're economically incentivized not to, because that strips the value proposition completely away from Bitcoin. So yes, while their coins, they would go, say all these miners had 100,000 coins yesterday, but now they're going to give themselves $500,000 coins. So they 5x their coins. They're going to lose a lot more in nominal value by doing that. So their 500,000 coins are going to be worth less tomorrow than their 100,000 coins are today, because there's not going to be market value. The whole proposition of Bitcoin is scarcity. And so the market would be flooded. Anybody that got these new coins would probably go out and sell them, and that would crush the price of Bitcoin to rock bottom prices. And so there's a huge economic incentive for them not to do that. The people that are actually the most incentivized not to do that are the only ones that could change the code. So yes, is it theoretically possible? It is theoretically possible. You could have, just 51% of, these millions of people just become crazy overnight and want to destroy the network. Yes, these weird kind of abstract things could happen. But I think that's one of the interesting things about Bitcoin. It appeals to our self-interest, or you could even say our greed. And I think let me wax poetic for a moment. I talk about socialism and capitalism a lot because the incentive structures for Bitcoin. Socialism says that we want to concentrate power because we want to trust in the altruism of the government. Capitalism says we want to decentralize that because we can't necessarily trust in other people. Both systems are fundamentally flawed. I like capitalism better, but both systems are flawed because at the end of the day, like you said, what the Bible says about people is that we're sinful and we're messed up people. And so both systems rely on that human structure. And so that's why you need to develop a system that is based around humans' fundamental flaw. We're all greedy when it comes to money. And so Bitcoin, all the rules are basically based on this idea that if you want to act against the network in a bad way, it's going to financially hurt you. It's going to exclude your transactions. If you try to put a bad transaction on the network, you're going to pay a cost for doing that. If you try to undermine the rules of the network, it's going to economically hurt you to do so. So acting in your own self-interest is the best way to make money in Bitcoin.